Let's talk about minimalism.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Minimalism documentary about the important things. That was alongside Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodem. How do you say his last name? I don't want to butcher.
Nicodemus. No, it's Nicodemus.
Nicodemus. All right. So I had come across a video, and you had written in a journal, January 2nd of 2014. This documentary is huge for me. It might not win any awards or be seen by many people, but is the biggest step I've made towards something meaningful, something that with a real purpose. I'm going to give this film everything that I have. What about this project made you feel that you or the project had a purpose? What was it that going into it you were like, this is actually something that I feel like has a bigger picture that we're going to create for?
I know the profound impact that minimalism as a lifestyle has had on my life and how it got me to think about the world differently. So I knew that other people would also be able to get some benefit from it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it would resonate or connect, or if like I said, like it's kind of crazy even thinking back on it. Like I was just hoping that maybe a few people would watch it and like it, or that maybe we could just, release it to Josh and Ryan's audience, and that would be enough for me. But it was like, I guess it's just something in your gut that tells you that this is the right decision to be making. I mean, I had paid off a good amount of my debt. I had built up my business to a point where I was ready to take a risk, and I was ready to create something that represented my vision. For the longest time, I'm executing on clients' visions, which is great. It's amazing. And if I could have done that for an entire lifetime and been happy, but I knew I wanted to challenge myself more. And I was like, as scary as it was to slow down on the client work, to slow down on making money, I was like, I just got to do it. I actually had 4 months before Josh ever reached out to me to make the documentary, I started a bucket list to, again, cliche and corny,
I love
but
it,
I'm like,
you have to do it. You have to visualize this stuff before it ever happens.
And like half of the things were just like, I was just trying to figure out fall in love in France or some shit. I don't know. Just random shit. I think it was actually fall in love with somebody who doesn't speak English. Oh my God. And I fell in love with an Australian. So I think that's close enough. But then at the top of the list was make a documentary about something I care about. And 4 months later, I ended up meeting Josh and Ryan a couple months after that. And then within a month of us meeting, Josh reached out to me and it's like, hey, I want to make a documentary about something I care about.
and I was like, well, look at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was like, this is nuts. And I never make decisions in the moment.
I was gonna say, was that like a moment when you read the email? Was it instant, like I need to do this, or did you have to kind of sit and think about it for a little bit?
I always take a minute and sit, and we did get on a phone call to talk about it, and I didn't tell him then. I'll never like make a big decision in the heat of the moment because our emotions can steer us in the wrong direction sometimes. And no matter how certain I think I am, I might regret it later, and especially a commitment when it could potentially be months and months, years. I mean, 3 years of your life.
3 years.
And of course, and I don't want to be the kind of person that backs away.
Yeah, when you commit, you want to be all in on it.
Exactly. So we had the phone call. Once I got off the phone with him, I was like, definitely going to do this. I just knew it right away, even after it. And I'm like, all right, I'll call him back tomorrow, or I'll reply to his email. And then we ended up starting the doc. It was, I just kind of joined that. We had a couple ideas shared back and forth about the vision, the direction of what this film might look like. And then eventually we just started, and we, I met them on the road and we started filming.
So that was 3 years though.
About, I mean, like, it's not nonstop. That's all I was doing for 3 years, but it's like, because I was doing freelance work in between it. I'm like hustling and then working very long nights. There was one major stint where it was maybe a month or two leading up to the deadline. That's like crazy, like 10-hour days, sometimes 12 hours, which like, it actually wasn't as painful as it sounds. Like it was just, I loved it. I loved it. And every morning I had a purpose. I knew exactly what I wanted to do throughout that edit. I knew exactly what scene I wanted to work on and how far I wanted to get. And usually I didn't get far enough in the edit than I wanted to. Yeah. But man, it was a difficult process. But like the passion and knowing that this is my first documentary, like knowing that I would be a documentary filmmaker, I would be a director of a film, like it was just like such a cool thing. And I was like, that's so neat to be able to execute on something I never thought that I could do.
Yeah. And what's that process like when you're actually in that in the shooting?